For those of you that disagree, it is wise that you question the legitimacy of information, and if you need to be convinced, these statistics are from Challenging Racism, an anti-racism research organisation, and from the University of Western Sydney, both of which are very reliable sources for statistics on racism due to their high authority and status. So to inform more people about racism, I became an author. Most didn't read the book, but instead commented on its plain cover and expressed that as their reason to ignore the book. I want the book to be read by many, so we can start a process in which we can begin to eventually remove racism. I want this to be my legacy. To achieve this, I need people to see what is beyond the cover. One day, this did happen.
Good morning. My name is Hope Ann, and I'd really like a job at this fantastic courier company. I believe I can offer the company...
Look, don't even ask for the job because you sure as hell aren't getting it. You New Zealanders are so dumb, you shouldn't even be allowed to live here. You're going to take all our jobs? Just get out.
Okay. Thank you for interviewing me, sir. Four years ago, I moved from New Zealand and, well, life has been ridiculously tough because I have no one to talk to. Not even my parents. They're dead. It also doesn't help that the racist views of many employers have kept me unemployed for so long. In a supposedly multicultural country like Australia, that's just not right. I will do something about it. There is no way I'm going to continue to accept this appalling racism. I mean, it's just absurd that I tirelessly go to every business and struggle to get a job when others can get a job without breaking a sweat. But this coverless brown book has helped me form so many new opinions, as well as what impact racism has on me. I don't like admitting it, but I've had poor mental and physical health and more stress. I thought it was just a coincidence that I was getting racially discriminated at the same time, but it's not. The stress that racism has placed upon me makes life feel like hell, and shockingly, it can lead to mental illness. I'm fully convinced that racism also isolates people, reduces economical, life and health opportunities. I know this for sure because racism has made me feel so trapped and so marginalized from society. Racism simply undermines each of my rights for no decent reason. Learning all this has made me want to fight back, but just without sinking to the racist person's level, because what's the point of that? I'll be as bad as them. But the scariest thing I realized is that I could die alone and live without a plate of food, a glass of water and a roof over my head, all because of someone's racist views. To put it in perspective, the fate of my economical and social opportunities is in the hands of society. Sadly, that was all I found in the book. I never found how to defend myself from racism, and I really wish it was there. I'm not putting up with this anymore.
Beat him up, Blake. He's gonna kill us all.
Seriously, get out of Australia! We don't need you and your race terrorizing us every time.
Not everyone in our race terrorizes people.
Yes, they do!
My name is Perseverance. I failed. I just couldn't help out my friend. I mean, I didn't know what to say or do. I just kept wondering, why do people still think being racist is fine? Then, I found a coverless book just lying there. I read it out of curiosity, and it sparked new perspective on racism for me. The first change in my perspective is the validity of Australia's claim to be multicultural. It's a reasonably valid statement, as we have varied food, goods, and nationalities, but in actuality, we as a country failed to meet the fundamental idea of multiculturalism. I think it was the Australian Race Discrimination Commissioner. He once stated, "Multiculturalism supports the ideals of a democratic society in which every person is free and equal in dignity and rights. Racism undermines these very foundations." So if this is Australia's identity, why do people think it's still fine to be racist? It's achieving nothing for anyone. I guess some just simply fail to understand the effects of racism without experiencing it. Actually, racism is also futile when looking at it scientifically. Since racism is the belief that certain races are superior to others, this supremacy has to be achieved by an alteration in the genes, but even science agrees that there is little evidence to support this. Oh, there it is. Dr. Templeton, who had a PhD in biology, analyzed DNA from the global human populations. The analysis showed that there were indeed variations between the DNA, however they were mostly individual variations and not seen across the whole race. What he ultimately found was the genetics of each race is almost identical, meaning we are essentially all very similar, making racism even more pointless. But maybe some are racist to be funny. The commissioner also once stated that you may say something you don't mean, but it can really make someone feel small. However, the book elaborated that if the racist joke is between your friends and everyone is laughing, it is more acceptable. Although, with all this evidence, I'm not sure if I'm actually looking at this with the right perspective. Is racism actually that futile?